What were some of those jobs? And I think you had a specific reason, and you were sort of trying to prove something to someone. And I know that you can articulate that much better than I can, but paint that picture for us.
Yeah. So, one of the big struggles that I've had throughout life, one of the things I've wrestled with is this concept of privilege. You know, white man growing up in an upper middle class family that was deeply respected in the Baltimore circles. And it always bothered me that there was an expectation that things would come easy to me as a result of that, and part of that is kind of highlighted in this quest to answer that first question: why are we so different, and why are we so divided? And I remember really thinking and feeling how uncomfortable that was, and I wanted to prove, probably mostly to myself, but also to maybe those around me, that I didn't need any handouts, and that no matter what anybody thought about my family or the upbringing that I came from or what I did or didn't have access to, I wanted to prove that there was nothing that I couldn't get in this world without my own sweat and hard work.
Mm.
So at a really young age, I just started hustling, where probably at maybe 12 years old, I remember organizing my first sports camp, where all of the younger kids from the neighborhood were like 5 or 6 or 7 in the summertime for a week, which felt like 3 months for me at the time.
Yeah, I bet.
The parents would send their kids across the street to our home, right? It wasn't a major deal, but it felt like it at a time. And I don't know, maybe it was $50 to spend a few hours with me per day. And, we'd run through sports, soccer drills and basketball and softball and all these things. I was just trying to keep these kids activated, engaged, and busy. But at the end of the day, I was trying to make money, right? And that went fine, and I ended up doing a lot of work with that over the years. But at 13 years old, I was a commercial painter for this painting company. A painter would be a generous way to describe my responsibilities. At best, I was the blue tape guy, right?
Yeah.
And so for 3 summers, I worked as a painter, and then I worked in construction in high school. And I was talking to somebody else about this the other day. It's this concept of letting somebody know how they're doing, right? So I didn't know any different. I was a painter, and I had the worst job. I was the guy that scraped the paint off this one house for the summer. I didn't even get to touch a paintbrush. It was 100 degrees in Baltimore. And from 7 in the morning until 3:30 when we finished, like, I just scraped without pause this home. And I remember my mom was picking me up from the painting shop at the end of the day where I would end up. And I was cleaning some stuff in the shop. And I remember the boss of the painting company, I overheard him talking to my mom. He's like, "That boy over there is the hardest working employee I have. There isn't a single thing that he won't do. And everything he does, he's got a huge smile on his face. And he's grateful for his time here. And he's thirsty for more. And he's teaching the real employees of this company how to show up." And I didn't know that I was showing up any different than anybody else, right? It's these positive words of affirmation. And that began to light this further flame in me that it's important to show up, and it's important to give 100% of what we have every single moment of every single day.
Yeah.
So I don't know, a little bit of a winding answer to the question, but I didn't want any handouts, and I wanted to prove to myself and maybe to the world that I was really committed to showing that.